right? So this is what you'll get sent a recording of, so you don't need to try and remember everything. Okay, just kind of go with it for now. All right. So when you've kind of read your magazine, you've done your YouTubing, you've spoken to people about getting tips and things. What kind of things have you been thinking about? What kind of feedback have you been getting?
The main, I think the main thing I think for me is probably the catch bit. I don't know, maybe I'm doing that bit wrong. I know that I've got straight arms, I think, and occasionally I might pull under because it's more comfortable. But I feel that that's where I'm not getting the power that I probably should, and I'm losing it a bit.
Yep.
I'm not really too sure what to do with my feet. I think because I've had issues with cramp, I've been trying to leave them alone and not, just try and let them, if they're not cramping, I don't care, I'll just pull myself through the water. I'm not really too sure what to do with my head. I've read sometimes that you've got to be looking right down, but then obviously in an open water swim you've got to get up every now and then. I'm not too sure about body roll. I remember last year when I was doing an open water swim, and I remember this thing that said you should kind of try and roll your body a bit. And in the wetsuit, I found it a lot easier. Yeah. And I remember having one really good session where I sort of like just bobbed along like this. I was like, oh, that's quite comfortable. But I've not been able to replicate that in the swimming pool.
Okay. So, what about things in terms of your body position? So about where you sit in the water. Do you think you're on the surface of the water?
I think my legs are quite low down. Okay. I bought some neoprene shorts as well to try and get my hips up, but I've not worn them yet because I thought I bought them before I contacted you guys, and then as soon as I contacted you guys, I was like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to come here and just see what's what. So they're sat at home waiting to be used or not used.
I think they'll certainly be used. Yeah, they'll certainly be used. Okay, that's interesting you say that about your catch and your head position and things like that. So when we saw you obviously swim up and down, do your initial 4 lengths, when I said there's a lot of good things about your stroke, the catch was actually one of the things which I actually thought was quite nice. Okay. So there's a few things I'd like to speak to you about in terms of the recovery as you recover the arms over the water. But once your arms are actually in the water and catching, pulling through underneath, you've actually got a really nice kind of shape to the arms, and the position that you're pulling through under the water is actually pretty good. Okay.
I thought that was probably my biggest fault.
Yeah, well, we'll have a closer look in a second. I mean, I'm talking about kind of mid-catch when you started to pull through. We look for people to have this position in the arm here, i.e. not pulling through straight. Yeah. But we'll have a closer look at that in a second. But for me, the biggest kind of limiter that you have in terms of progressing through the water, you're increasing your speed, is your body position.
Right.
Yeah, your body position and where you're sitting in the water. So, in simple terms, when you want to improve someone's swim stroke, you need to improve their propulsion and reduce their drag. Okay. Drag is the biggest limiter that you have at the moment. So if we can reduce that, the amount of drag that your body is producing as it goes through the water, then you will get substantially quicker. You did that 100 meters. I know you're just swimming steady, and you paused at the end and things. You did it in about 2 minutes. So you're swimming about 8 minutes for 400 if you can continue at that pace. What I did notice is as the length progressed, your body was getting lower in the water. So maybe as you get a little bit more tired as you got towards the end of the length, then things started to drop down a little bit there. And there's a number of things which cause your legs to be low, which we'll go through on the video. All right. But that's certainly the biggest thing for me today is if we can get those legs up, then you will go faster. You absolutely will go faster, and you'll actually probably start to enjoy it a little bit more and feel like you're making more progress through the water.
Yeah.
So let's have a play through this anyway, and just what we do when I play the video through is just kind of effectively say what we see. So from the side, just wait to go around the side of the pole. Right, there we go. So have a look at I'm having a look at the arm recovery, what the arms are doing as they recover over the water. I'll explain that in a bit more detail in a minute. And also things like the head position. Now, the first thing we're seeing here is your head is turning, or if you look where you're looking, you're almost kind of looking up here, up in the air. Okay, I can see the whole of your face, and I can see a nice big open mouth there. All right. That usually means that there's a bit of breath holding going on because it's a bit of it's a kind of not a gasp, but you're taking a big intake of breath there.
Yeah.
All right. Now, if you are holding your breath, that's one of the biggest things which causes the legs to drop, funny enough, because it throws the timing of your stroke out.
Right.
It also will literally fill your air with lungs, which makes the front end of your body more buoyant, makes your lungs float, makes the top end of your body float, and then makes your legs drop. The body's like a seesaw in the water, so anything that comes up at the front end will make the back end drop.
Right.
So lifting the head up, physical lifting the head up will make the legs drop. Or actually, if you're kind of floating, your chest is floating a bit higher in the water because of the air in your lungs, that will also make the legs drop. Okay, so there's two things there straight away which cause the legs are like a symptom. We're looking for the cause.
Right.
One of the causes is going to be what's happening at the front end of the stroke.
I'm expelling, but obviously not enough.
So we'll have a look at that. People always say that. Oh no, I breathe out. Yeah, I breathe out. But we can have a good old close look here, and we'll see exactly when you're breathing out, because we can see the bubbles and things from poolside, but underneath we can see quite clearly when it actually happens. People get quite not funny about it, but they're, oh no, I definitely don't hold my breath out. And then we can see it.
I
So
think maybe it's a bit of the panic thing.
yeah, yeah. And this is really important that you get the breathing right, because when you swim in open water, if you start to hold your breath, you get shortness of breath. It leads to a physical buildup of CO2 in your system, which can make you feel anxious and kind of almost like this kind of like you just feel like you got to get the anxiety in the water. So breathing is really important, that we get the breathing nice and relaxed and continuous. So we'll have a closer look at that in a second. Now, let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this right arm. It recovers over the water. So the arms for me just a little bit. They're a little bit what we call hand-led. Okay, so if I have a look at, show you this animation here. You may have seen these kind of animations. These are swim smooth animations. Okay, so there's two kind of top of the tree types of swim, front crawl swim style, if you like. One of them is like this. It's like a pure, beautiful kind of cool swimmer. You know, the classic, what we call a high elbow recovery. So the arm comes up, really high elbow there, and then the arm kind of swings through beneath the elbow like a pendulum. Swings through underneath and spears in eventually in front of the shoulder there. Okay. And then the other type, the recovery on this type of stroke, is more, if I show you from above, just comes out at the hip, and then swings right around the outside edge, and then spears in a bit wider. But they both come to rest at the same point underneath the water in front of the shoulder, and then that's where the catch starts. Okay?
Okay.
Now, even with this type of stroke, we look at the left arm, sorry, the right arm now this time, is, even though it's a different type of stroke, the recovery is still elbow-led. So the elbow is in front of the hand, front of the hand, and eventually the hand starts to overtake and comes into the water there. Okay. So if we go back to yourself, there's your high elbow, your elbow's coming up, but what happens then is your hand whips around the outside, goes, overtakes the elbow really early there, and what that does, it means you have a tendency, and you can see it, I'll show you from let's have a guess here, I'll show you from above here. Let's play this. See, there's the hand there, look. So the hand's in front of the elbow at this point. Comes around, and you can see where the hand is going. It's headed over that direction. Okay, whereas it should be going forwards. The arm should be travelling forwards. Does that make sense?
It's incredible, yeah.
Okay, so, and it's the same on the right side. It whips around the outside edge. It's the same kind of thing. We're going this way. So you're a little bit more like, all that. You're a little bit more like this, swinging around the outside edge, but the arms are just coming in. They're entering the water kind of almost over here, heading in that direction.
Right.
Does that make sense? So in order to have a good catch and pull through, you've got to set it up right. So you just kind of, the arms are approaching from the wrong kind of area, and that can start to disrupt the rhythm and the balance of the stroke. Okay, so
what's right? Are they both right, or
on the animation?
Yeah,
both right.
Okay.
So one of them is almost like, so if you go to the smooth, play that. That's the kind of standard, what you call maybe like a classic kind of pool swimmer, someone who's learned to swim from being a kid, really good, perfect technique. You're not going to swim like that.
No.
Most people who come back to swimming after having not swum for donkey's years when they were a kid, same as like me, and or triathletes, swim much more like this kind of style. Much less of a kick, which is beneficial if you're going to be riding your bike and running.
Yeah.
So you're expelling less energy, but it's a more basic stroke. It's more rhythmical. As you mentioned earlier, that you eventually decided to just go what felt right. That's exactly the right approach to swimming. You can't overthink swimming. You can't make it all mechanical and my hand needs to be here now and my head needs to be here now. You've kind of got a sense for things to be moving fluidly and kind of in a relaxed kind of way almost. So we like to tidy up those arms a little bit, and I'll explain how we'll do that in a second, but I'm just kind of taking it one step at a time. Whoa, a bit of a clue as to what we're going to talk about next there. But you're breathing on both sides. You've got a nice kind of rhythm to the stroke. It's kind of, the timing seems to be, in terms of the frequency of the stroke, seems to be, it's a nice tempo to it.
It starts off and I feel really comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm like, this feels amazing. And then very quickly I'm like, I'm tired again.
All right, well what we'll talk about next then is one of the reasons I think you're getting tired so quick. All right, so now we dip underneath the water. So, the biggest thing for me, which is kind of holding you back really, is what I said to you, is the position of your body in the water. Now, it gets worse as you swim along the length and you get more tired. Okay. So ideally, we want to be swimming on the surface of the water. So, if I show you while I'll show you Rebecca Adlington, who's not too bad.
Yeah, she's all right.
She's all right. Okay, so body position, shoulders, bum, hips, all on the surface. So you think about the way she's travelling through the water. There's no water resistance there. She's got a little bit on the front of her head and on her chest here, but generally her whole body position is, her body is sitting right on the surface of the water. Whereas if you compare that to yourself there, you're sitting low, sitting quite low. So if you imagine we can just lift you up, it's going to make a huge amount of difference. And also you're kind of swimming, because you're in that position in the water, that angle here, because you're angled in the water, when you recover the arms, your arms are kind of almost in the wrong position too, because you're coming in from this kind of angle rather than being up in the water and then allowing yourself to get up and over the top of the stroke, if that makes sense. So it does have quite a few impacts. Now, one of the reasons I think you're breathing so hard is because you're kicking quite hard.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And you're kicking from the knee.
I thought I was not kicking at all.
Yeah. So that kick there is actually probably causing you more problem than good. It's causing you more problems than it's you're not getting a return on all that energy investment there. So even the best swimmers in the world will generate maximum 10% forward propulsion from their kick, and they would be sprinters. So if you're someone like yourself, which is why we have a lot of endurance athletes will swim like this. Look at that kick. Just a gentle, I'm not suggesting this is a 2-beat kick where it's literally a kick per stroke. Minimal effort going on in the legs there.
Yeah.
The legs, because they're big old things like you on your bike,
Yeah.
they burn a lot of gas. They make your heart rate go through the roof. You've got to get that heart rate down. Okay, so imagine how much gas you're burning there to try and generate maybe 5% propulsion. It's not worth it.
I thought I was just kicking a little bit.
No. Because you're kicking from the knee, it actually will produce drag,
Right.
and it will pull you back. So I bet you if you were to have a kickboard and kick like that, have you ever used a kickboard?
No.
Just the the flat boards that you see the kids kind of using going up and down the pool, just purely kicking. We'll have to have an experiment to see what. I suspect you won't go anywhere at all.
Really?
Like, I don't think you're producing any forward propulsion.
With my knees.
So all this, I mean, you can see you kind of get a little bit lower as we go down the pool. So you need to know how to kick. You need to know how to kick. Yeah, kicking from the hip. We want a nice, gentle kick from the hip. So we teach you kicking so that it not really provides propulsion, but we're teaching you or showing you how you should kick so that it doesn't cause you a problem. We're trying to cancel out that problem there. So just a gentle, good quality kick from the hip should give you more rhythm and balance from the stroke. It'll bring your heart rate right down. It'll make you feel like you're swimming much easier.
Yeah.
And without that drag from the back end, you go faster and your legs will sit higher in the water. So doing less with your legs is going to make you quicker. In a simple way of putting it. All right. It's a win-win. You have to work less hard to get faster. All right, but we need to kind of go through that process with you. So that's a big one. So we're going to have a look at the legs for sure. Let's have a look at this breathing.
There's a lot.
Well, I think what we'll work on today is the breathing, head position, which are all kind of related, and the kicking.
Okay.
Then it's a case of going away and practicing those until you feel like you've kind of taken it as far as you can take it, and then coming back and going for the next stage, or coming to the squad, and we can kind of help you on an ongoing basis, really. So let's just play this through again. I always think it's almost like you're kind of trying to run through the water, So we want to be extending forward and pulling the water, a bit more like a canoe would. Trying to get some propulsion on a canoe, whereas there's almost too much movement going on there. So breathing out.
So you really closed mouth and holding all the air in.
Yeah. So let's have a look at that. So have a look at your face while you're breathing. So you've taken a breath in there.
Yeah.
Just wait until we. Okay. So we take a breath in. Breath in. Timing of the stroke is out a little bit. We'll worry about that later. So you're taking the breath in. There is some air coming out at that point. It's actually a fair amount coming out. You might be right. But we'll have a look.
I know I'm trickling it out.
Okay. All right. So let's see what happens when you turn to breathe. Like Karen was talking, you can see your cheek there. It's all. You've got half your air in your mouth by the looks of it.
Don't want to run out.
And then here we go, look. That's the air coming out. That's the air coming out. So even though people trickle breathe and they get a fair amount out, there's probably still another 75% to come out. When it really comes out, you can see it quite clearly. Okay, so, and that's what you could see. We could see that from poolside. You could see all the air come up here as you're breathing out.
So should that come out at the start almost?
Yeah. So what should happen is, as soon as you breathe in. As soon as the head goes back in, you're breathing out, breathing out. So by the time you come to breathe in again, it's all gone. It's all gone. Because what you're actually doing is you're breathing out, still breathing out, then you start to breathe in. So you're spending too long on your side, which means you continue to rotate. The lead arm starts to kind of go because you're spending too long there, and you just lose momentum in the water. So that breath needs to be in, head back in, snappier breath. It's really important. We see this so frequently, don't we? The breathing, it just throws. It's like any sport. If your breathing is out, it throws the timing of whatever it is you're doing out, and it's the number one thing is to get that tidied up. So breathing out, breathing in, 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 and then your head comes back in again. Probably see it on the other side here when we breathe to the left. So there's a fair amount coming out.
More coming out there.
Can't really
Might
see it
be able
from
to
that
see it
side.
from above.
Yeah. And you kind of get a little bit. I mean, you probably can't see what I mean here because I get used to looking at these things all the time. But your body is doing the wrong thing at the wrong time because you're spending so long there. Your head should be back in now. You should be looking forward. This is your support arm. So if I show you the animation. So there you can see she's breathing out, constantly breathing out. So breathe in. Oh, look to the end there. So she breathes in at that point. And this is, I'm not doing this very well, am I? Getting to the wrong place. Why does she breathe this way?
Yeah,
She doesn't breathe this way, does she?
No.
Never noticed that before.
No.
Anyway, so this is the support arm. So when you turn to breathe, so you're going to breathe away now, isn't she? Oh, here we go. No. I want her to breathe that way. So when she turns to breathe, that's what she almost leans on in the water to get the kind of give her the support to breathe. What's happening with you is that arm is going early because you're spending so long breathing. That arm continues to drop. So you should be leaning on that. That's catching the water, getting hold of that chunk of water at the front there. As you lean on it to take the breath. But because you're spending so long, that arm is just drifting down, not really doing much at the front of the stroke. And you kind of get a little bit bent out of shape. I mean, you can imagine it's probably not the best kind of position to be in. For,
Oh yeah.
do you know what I mean? Everything's just kind of a little bit out of shape. So what we need to do is make sure we make that breath more relaxed and more rhythmical and snappier, because it just affects. Swimming's like it's like a chain reaction. It's affecting the rest of the things that are happening in the stroke all the way down the chain. So we've got to get that fixed. So I think the most important thing to start on today will be the breathing. So we'll do some sink down drills. It's a simple drill. You just do it in the deep end, and you just get used to fully exhaling. And it's actually quite a simple drill that you can practice and kind of tune into what's happening with breath quite easily. So see these girls here, they're quite good at exhaling, and they can sink right to the bottom. There's nothing in their lungs, you'll sink to the bottom.
Yeah.
This chap over here is having a bit more trouble. He's kind of bobbing around a little bit more. It's getting better now. Kind of it's hanging around really slow. It's because he's still got air in his lungs.
Right.
He went straight down low. So you just get used to fully exhaling, and then we'll get you swimming with the fins on. Just nice and relaxed, full length with the fins on. Breathe in, breathe out. Get you to make a noise as you're breathing out, so you remember to do it. And just some practice with that, say, working on that full exhalation. Head position, we might see if we get time to get to that, but we might not. But I'll show you to anyway, so it's recorded on here. So your head position, you're looking quite a long way forward in your. Is that you there? Oh no, that's not you. That's like Ian. Let's open you up again. I've lost you. You're looking quite a long way forwards. So when you look a long way forwards in the pool like that, in the water like that, again, anything which makes the head lift up will make the back end of the body drop. So what we do sometimes, and we'll try and get through that today with you as well, is work on different different head positions when you put your head back in the water once you breathe. Because you mentioned it earlier, very often the advice is to put your head straight down because it'll help lift the legs up, but it's different for different people. So we'll do some experiments with different head positions with you, see how that makes you feel, see if it makes it any easier for you to breathe when it's time for you to turn to breathe to the side. So head position, so breathing in head position, and then also we're going to do some work on that kick. So we'll do what we call the ballerina drill. Let's see if we can get it going back this way. So you can see how low you are there, look. So we'll get you kicking from the hip using the ballerina drill. Have you got some with fins on?
Not really.
Okay. All right.
You said you'd done some scuba, didn't you?
I've done a fair bit of
So
scuba.
you use them both.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll enjoy the fins because they really give you
The power.
They give you propulsion, and what it allows you to do is because you get easy propulsion for minimal effort, it allows you to think a bit more time to think about what you're doing with your stroke. Because all you're doing when you're swimming like that is you're thinking about getting your breath in and trying to get to the end and all that kind of stuff. You're not actually having time to think about doing this and all the stuff we're going to talk to you about. So, just quickly, just to finish off then, I don't think we're going to see anything else from this position, just you coming back the other way. Still see the same with the breathing out there. But you can just see the energy going into the kick here.
Oh yeah, this is.
There's a lot of work going in there. And then from above,
Yeah, you can see the air coming out as you breathe. You're going to breathe this way.
So that's too much.
It's still coming out as you're on your side.
Yeah, so it should have gone by then. That air should be out by the time by the time you actually start to turn to take the breath, you can see it come up, bubble up there.
Yeah.
That should have gone by then. So you're breathing out there still, whereas that's when you should be starting to breathe in. And it's only subtle, but it does make a big difference to the whole timing of the stroke. I'm not too concerned about what's happening with the back end of the legs here, because the legs are splitting and obviously they're low in the water. But we're going to be working on that side of things anyway. So yeah, and there we can see over rotating, so you're almost completely on your side because you're spending so long taking that big breath there. Which means the arm's out of position, so the arm has to go right over the top. Yeah, it just throws the general timing of the stroke out. I don't think we're going to see anything else from this way either. You are breathing out quite a lot, to be fair. There's a lot of air coming out, but you're just saving some of it to the last bit, just as you turn. Hold on to breath a little bit there. I think you'll find getting the breathing dialed in, it'll be quite straightforward actually. All right, so I think that's it then. So just to clarify, we're going to do, I think we'll start with kicking, because we'll put the fins on. So we'll start off with the ballerina drill and do some little kicking exercises to get yourself used to kicking from the hip. And then we'll do the breathing side of things. Okay. So we'll do some sink downs and do some, with your fins on, do some easy lengths, just working on the exhalation. Then we'll do some head position work. And then depending on how the time goes, might get you to just kind of relax the shoulders a little bit. You know, right at the start, I started talking about being hand-led. Just try and get you to relax and spread those arms out a little bit, and just try and have a slightly wider arm recovery, a more relaxed arm recovery.
So am I hand-led?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so in fact the one above's probably the best one to look at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
That's all the way.
So you get to that point, the hand overtakes straight away.
Yeah.
And then it pulls the arm forward rather than swinging around. See, her hand is still behind the elbow. Swings right around the outside edge. All the way around, all the way around, all the way around. And actually enters the water really wide out here. Whereas you're kind of swinging around this way, arm hand led, and you're coming in kind of here instead. So if your arm's coming in this direction, then you've got to pull it back round again to start the catch. Whereas she's coming in wide, and because she's still rotating flat, the hand eventually settles naturally in the right position in front of the shoulder there.
How hard should you be pulling the catch? I mean, I'm not forcing it at all. I'm just kind of going through the motions.
I don't think you need to worry too much about that now. Eventually, when you can control the stroke, when you're a little bit more control on that, we know the hand's in the right position, then that's when we put things like paddles on, and we start to really think about getting hold of that water and really pushing it back. We're not at that stage yet. We've just got to get your hands doing the right things first of all.
I had to go with paddles last year, but probably because of all the stuff I'm doing wrong, it just hurt.
Yeah.
I did my shoulder in.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not doing this again.
Yeah, you've got to. They're just a tool, and there's no point using the tool unless you're doing the right thing at the right time with the arms. Eventually, we definitely use a lot of paddles, don't you? Because it works really well for strength work. And then once you kind of you've got the good control, the good kind of strength in the stroke, you can take the paddles off, and it makes it feel so much easier.
Yeah.
But you've still got that you can get the stroke rate up, a more powerful stroke. All right, so Jim's happy with all that?
Yeah, very.
I know it's quite a lot there.
Yeah.
So